unpredictable. 8/80ths rule. Imagine a pirate crew planning a treasure hunt. They break down their quest into smaller tasks, each taking no less than 8 and no more than 80 hours. This ensures that each task is manageable and not too overwhelming, much like a pirate crew dividing a map into sections to search for treasure efficiently. PMBOK Guide. Think of this as the pirate's code, a set of guidelines that all pirates agree upon. Just as the PMBOK Guide provides standards for project management, the pirate's code offers a common understanding of how to conduct their voyages and share spoils. Abusive manner. This is akin to a pirate captain who rules through fear and intimidation, causing harm and unrest among the crew, which can lead to mutiny or failure of the voyage. Acceptance. When a pirate crew decides to sail through a storm, because it's a minor one, they are accepting the risk. They know the potential dangers, but also understand that the rewards might be worth it. Acceptance test-driven development. Imagine a pirate crew designing a new ship. They start by considering what the ship must do from the perspectives of the captain, crew, and shipbuilder. They design tests for these requirements before even starting to build the ship. Acknowledgement. This is like a pirate receiving a message in a bottle and signaling with a flag that they've received it, but not necessarily that they agree with its contents. Active listening. A pirate captain who not only hears his crew's concerns, but also clarifies and discusses them to ensure full understanding, is practicing active listening. Active observation. Consider a captain who walks around the ship, observing and interacting with the crew, understanding their work and challenges firsthand. Active problem solving. When a ship encounters an unexpected obstacle, the captain and crew actively work to understand the cause and find a solution, much like navigating through uncharted waters. Activity list. This is like a detailed plan of every task the crew needs to complete during their voyage, derived from the broader treasure map. Activity network diagram. Imagine a map showing the sequence of islands a pirate ship will visit and the activities at each stop, illustrating the flow of the voyage. Actual cost. This is the total amount of gold and resources the pirate crew has spent up to a point in their journey. Adaptive life cycle. A pirate crew that plans as they go, adapting to new information and changing conditions, much like navigating through unpredictable seas. Adjourning. When the treasure is found and the voyage ends, the crew disbands or moves on to new adventures, similar to a project team at the end of a project. Affinity diagram. Like sorting a treasure trove into categories for better understanding and analysis. Affinity estimating. When a crew sizes up new treasure finds by comparing them to what they found before. Agile charter. This is like a flexible pirate code that sets the goals for a voyage, but is open to changes and new routes as the journey progresses. Agile manifesto. The creed that a modern, adaptable pirate crew might follow, focusing on flexibility and value in their voyages. Agile project management. Like a pirate crew that plans their journey in stages, adapting their course based on the winds and tides, and the information they gather along the way. Agile risk. The potential for unexpected events that could affect the value of the crew's journey. Alternative analysis. When a pirate crew considers different routes or strategies for finding treasure, weighing factors like danger, time, and potential reward. Alternative dispute resolution. Settling disagreements among the crew or with other parties through discussion and compromise, rather than a duel or mutiny. Alternatives generation. Like brainstorming different ways to overcome an obstacle, such as finding a way around a treacherous reef. Ambiguity risks. Risks that are unclear or uncertain, like navigating through foggy waters where dangers might be hidden. Analogous estimating. Using past voyages' experiences to estimate how long a new journey might take. Application areas. Different types of voyages or raids, like those focusing on treasure hunting, trading, or exploring uncharted territories. Assumptions log. Keeping a record of assumptions made during planning, like assuming a certain island will have fresh water, and then verifying these assumptions during the voyage. Atwood's duck. Adding an ornate figurehead to the ship that the captain is willing to remove, to distract and satisfy the crew who might want to make other, more critical changes to the ship. Autocratic. A captain who makes all decisions without consulting the crew, like a tyrannical pirate lord. Avoidance. Choosing a route that completely avoids known pirate hunter patrols. Avoiding power. A captain who stays out of the crew's disputes and decisions, letting them sort things out themselves. Balanced matrix structure. Power is shared between the ship's captain and the quartermaster, each with their own areas of authority. Behavior-driven development. Developing a new navigation technique based on specific scenarios and asking why at each step to ensure it meets the crew's needs. Benchmarking. Comparing your ship's speed, maneuverability, and success rate with other pirate ships to gauge performance. Benefit-cost ratio models. Calculating whether the potential treasure from a raid is worth the risk and resources invested. Bicycle shedding. The crew spends hours arguing over the color of the new sails, while ignoring more important issues like hull repairs. Bid. A pirate offering their services to the highest bidder, stating their price for joining a raid or voyage. Bidder conference. a gathering where a pirate captain discusses the terms of a potential raid or alliance with other pirate leaders. Bottom-up estimating, calculating the time and resources needed for a voyage by considering every small task, like charting every stop and potential challenge along the way. Brainwriting, each member of the crew writes down their ideas for a raid or a new sailing technique, and then they all share and discuss these ideas. Brain netting, the crew uses messages in bottles or signal fires to brainstorm ideas with other ships in their fleet, even when they're not physically together. Brainstorming, the crew gathers around the map table, throwing out all sorts of ideas for their next adventure, without immediately dismissing any of them. Budget estimate, like a pirate captain estimating the cost of a voyage, knowing it could vary by 10% to 25% depending on unforeseen events like storms or encounters with other ships. Burn-down chart, imagine a pirate crew marking off parts of a treasure map as they complete each section, showing how much of the map is left to explore. Burn-up chart, this is like a pirate crew tracking the treasure they've already collected and what's still buried, showing both progress and remaining goals. Business risks, the potential gains or losses from a pirate venture, like the risk of attacking a merchant ship that might yield great treasure or lead to a battle with a navy ship. Business value, the tangible and intangible returns from a pirate raid, like gold and reputation. Cardinal scales, ranking the likelihood and impact of encountering a navy ship or a storm at sea, similar to assessing probability and impact in project management. Cause and effect diagrams, like a pirate captain figuring out why their ship is slower than expected, considering factors like wind, currents, and the condition of the sails. Caves and commons, the ship's deck for group discussions, and below deck for individual, focused tasks like map reading or navigating. Change control board, a group of senior pirates who decide whether to pursue a new treasure map or change course based on new information. Change control system, the process by which the pirate crew manages and documents changes to their voyage plan. Change log, a record in the captain's logbook of all changes made to the voyage plan, including why and how the changes were made. Change management plan, the crew's agreed-upon procedures for handling unexpected discoveries or changes in their voyage. Charismatic leadership, a pirate captain who inspires and motivates the crew with their vision and passion, much like a charismatic project leader. Checklist, a list used by the quartermaster to ensure all supplies and preparations are complete before setting sail. Choice of media, deciding whether to communicate with other ships via flags, lanterns, or messenger birds, depending on the situation. Claims, disputes between pirate crews and their contractors, like disagreements over the vision of a plundered treasure. Closure processes, the final phase of a voyage, where the crew documents their journey, divides the loot, and prepares for their next adventure. Code of accounts, a system for categorizing and tracking different parts of the treasure, much like numbering items in a WBS. Communication assumptions, beliefs about how the crew will communicate, like assuming everyone will hear orders shouted from the crow's nest. Communication barrier, anything that hinders effective communication, like a loud storm making it hard to hear orders on deck. Communication channels formula, calculating the number of potential communication paths among the crew, like figuring out all the ways news can spread among pirates on a ship. Communication constraints, limitations on communication, such as the range of a signal lantern or the speed of a messenger bird. Communications management plan, the captain's plan for who needs to know what information, when, and how, like using flags for quick signals and meetings for detailed plans. Competency, the skills and abilities required for a successful voyage, like navigation, sword fighting, and ship maintenance. Compromising, when two pirate captains agree to share a discovered treasure, each giving up some of their claim to avoid conflict. Configuration identification, labeling and tracking different parts of the ship and its equipment, like cannons and sails, for maintenance and upgrades. Configuration management plan, the plan for how changes to the ship, like adding more cannons or changing the rigging, will be managed and documented. Configuration management system, a system for managing requests to change parts of the ship or its equipment and ensuring these changes are properly made and recorded. Configuration status accounting, keeping track of all the ship's equipment, supplies, and their condition, like a quartermaster's inventory list. Configuration verification and auditing, regular checks to ensure the ship and its equipment are in line with the planned specifications and ready for a voyage. Conflict of interest, when a pirate captain has competing loyalties, like being offered a bribe by a merchant to spare their ship. Context diagram, a map showing the relationships between different elements in the pirate world, like ports, trade routes, and navy patrols. Contingency reserve, a stash of extra supplies or gold set aside for unexpected events during a voyage, like running into a storm or needing to bribe local officials. Contract, an agreement between a pirate crew and another party, like hiring a skilled navigator for a share of the treasure. Contract change control system, the process for making changes to agreements with other parties, like renegotiating the share of loot with a hired navigator. Contract closure, The formal process of confirming that all terms of a contract have been met, like ensuring a hired navigator gets their agreed-upon share of the treasure. Contract statement of work, a detailed description of the work or goods a pirate crew expects from someone they've hired or traded with. Control account, a way to track the time, cost, and scope of different parts of a voyage, like keeping tabs on the progress of searching for a specific treasure. Control chart, a chart used to track variations in the requests from the crew or passengers, ensuring they stay within acceptable limits. Control quality, regular inspections of the ship and its equipment to ensure everything is in good condition and meets the crew's standards. Encoder, similar to a pirate using a code or cipher to encode their messages to other crew members, ensuring that only those with the key can understand the communication. Enhancing. This is like a pirate crew actively seeking out favorable conditions for their voyage, such as finding a hidden cove for shelter or discovering a shortcut to a treasure island. Enterprise environmental factors. These are the external conditions that affect how a pirate crew operates, including things like the state of the seas, the availability of supplies in nearby ports, and the presence of enemy ships. Escalating. When a pirate captain faces a challenge beyond their authority, like a mutiny among the crew, they might escalate the issue to the ship's quartermaster or even the pirate lord for resolution. Estimate at completion. Similar to a pirate captain making a prediction about how much treasure they expect to gather by the end of the voyage, based on their current progress. Estimate to complete. Forecasting the additional gold coins and supplies needed to complete the voyage successfully, considering the challenges encountered so far. Expected monetary value. A pirate captain's way of quantifying the potential gains or losses from a particular course of action, such as deciding whether to pursue a rumored treasure island or avoid a dangerous reef. Expert power. Like a seasoned pirate captain who commands respect and obedience from the crew due to their deep knowledge of navigation, combat, and treasure hunting. Explicit knowledge. Information that can be easily shared among the crew through conversation or written instructions, such as a map to a buried treasure. Exploit. When the pirate crew takes advantage of a favorable opportunity, like using favorable winds to quickly reach a distant island rumored to hold great riches. Exploratory testing. Similar to a pirate crew exploring an uncharted island, this approach involves unstructured and independent testing of software to discover hidden bugs and issues. External dependencies. These are like the pirate crew relying on deliveries from external sources, such as obtaining supplies from friendly ports or waiting for favorable tides. External QA. Ensuring the quality of the treasure or goods the pirate crew acquires, especially when dealing with external buyers or traders. External risks. Risks that are beyond the control of the pirate crew, but could impact the success of their voyage, like encountering a powerful Navy fleet. Extreme programming. An agile approach to project management that could be compared to the way a well-organized and disciplined pirate crew conducts its operations. Fast tracking. When the pirate crew overlaps sequential activities to speed up the voyage, like simultaneously repairing the ship while gathering supplies. FDD Chief Architect. The pirate captain who designs the overall plan for the voyage and leads the planning discussions with the crew. FDD Chief Programmer. Similar to the quartermaster, this crew member assists the chief architect and leads smaller groups of pirates in specific tasks. FDD Class Owner. A pirate crew member responsible for designing, coding, and testing specific features or aspects of the voyage. FDD Development Manager. The pirate crew member who manages the day-to-day activities and coaches other members to ensure tasks are completed efficiently. FDD Domain Expert. Much like a navigator who understands the waters and currents, this crew member comprehends the needs and desires of the crew and helps guide the voyage. FDD Project Manager. The crew member responsible for overseeing the project's management tasks, ensuring the crew stays on course and on schedule. Feature-driven development. An agile approach to project management that resembles the organized and feature-focused approach of a pirate crew. Feedback. Ensuring that messages and orders from the captain are fully understood by the crew, often involving confirmation or further explanation to avoid misunderstandings. Fibonacci sequence. A method used by pirates for estimating the size of tasks, much like sizing up the potential treasures they might find. Finish to finish. A relationship between tasks where one must be completed before another can finish, like securing the treasure chest before counting the loot. Finish to start. The order in which activities must occur, such as gathering supplies before setting sail. Fishbowl windows. Much like using spyglasses or telescopes to spot other ships on the horizon, these are video conferencing tools used for virtual team collaboration. 5 levels of conflict, progressing from minor disputes and disagreements to larger confrontations and battles, similar to how conflicts escalate on a pirate ship. 5 whys, a technique used by the pirate captain to uncover the root causes of problems, asking why 5 times to get to the heart of the issue. Fixed costs, expenses that remain constant throughout the voyage, like the cost of maintaining the ship. Fixed price contracts, agreements where the total payment for a service or product is predetermined, much like a contract with a hired navigator. Fixed price incentive fee, A contract where the crew is paid a fixed amount plus bonuses based on their performance, similar to a pirate crew receiving a share of the treasure, plus a bonus for finding rare jewels. Fixed price with economic price adjustments. A contract with a base price that can be adjusted for factors like inflation or changes in market conditions, ensuring fair compensation for the crew. Flowchart. A diagram illustrating the sequence of tasks and decisions in the voyage, much like a treasure map showing the path to the ultimate prize. Focus groups, like gathering a group of experienced sailors to discuss and gather requirements for the voyage. Follow the sun approach. The crew working around the clock, passing responsibilities across time zones for large projects, similar to a continuous effort to navigate day and night. Force majeure. Uncontrollable events like storms, earthquakes, or tsunamis that can impact the success of a voyage. Forming. The initial stage, when a group of pirates comes together for the first time, each member learning their roles and responsibilities as they embark on a new adventure. Fragment. A section of the project's network diagram, often representing outsourced work, much like when pirates team up with other crews for joint expeditions. Free float. Just as a pirate ship can maneuver within a certain range without affecting its neighboring ships, free float represents the time an activity can delay without impacting its successors, allowing flexibility in the project schedule. Functional analysis. Similar to a pirate crew, analyzing the functions and goals of their ship and crew roles to ensure efficient and effective operation during their voyages. Functional structure. An organization divided into separate functional departments, like a pirate crew with dedicated roles such as sailors, navigators, and gunners, each working independently but contributing to the overall success of the voyage. Funding limit. The budget determined relative to the scope of the project, much like a pirate captain allocating a specific amount of treasure for each aspect of the voyage. Funding limit reconciliation. Managing the cash flow of the pirate crew against the planned project deliverables to ensure they have enough resources for the entire voyage. Future value. Calculating the future worth of treasure or investments, similar to how a pirate captain would calculate the value of plundered riches over time. General management skills. Applying a diverse set of skills such as accounting, HR, IT, and marketing in managing the pirate crew and ship, ensuring smooth operations during the voyage. Governance framework. The set of rules, policies, and procedures followed within the pirate crew, including how decisions are made and how project-related aspects are managed. Green zones and red zones. Evaluating the positive and negative attributes and behaviors of the pirate crew that can either enhance or hinder their performance during the voyage. Guilt-based power. A pirate captain's ability to use guilt to gain compliance or motivate the crew to take specific actions during the voyage. Halo effect. Similar to how some pirate crew members might judge their captain's leadership based on unrelated characteristics or past successes rather than their actual abilities. Hard logic. The mandatory order of activities, much like the strict sequence required for certain construction tasks when building or repairing the pirate ship. Hertzberg's theory of motivation, distinguishing between motivating factors and hygiene factors that impact the motivation and satisfaction of the pirate crew. Hierarchical organizational chart, similar to a pirate crew's organizational chart, showing the superior-subordinate relationships among crew members and roles on the ship. Hybrid life cycle, a voyage that mixes predictive planning with adaptive approaches, adapting to changing conditions while following a planned course. Hybrid projects, voyages that combine traditional planning and execution with agile practices, allowing for both flexibility and structure. Hybrid structure, blending different organizational structures, such as functional, matrix, and project-oriented, to suit the needs of the pirate crew and their voyage. Increment, a completed and functional part of the treasure map or product backlog, which can be released and used independently at any time during the voyage. Incremental life cycle, a project approach where the pirate crew repeatedly complete cycles, creating incremental progress and valuable treasures throughout the voyage. Independent estimates, similar to receiving should-cost estimates from experts or experienced crew members, helping the pirate captain make informed decisions about resource allocation and planning. Indirect costs, expenses shared across the pirate crew's activities, such as the cost of maintaining the ship or providing food and shelter for the crew. Industrial work, labor-intensive work with tangible, predictable results, like repairing and maintaining the pirate ship. Influence diagram, charts used by the pirate captain to map out decision problems, identifying key influencing factors that can impact the success of the voyage. Influence impact grid, a tool that maps the stakeholders based on their influence over project execution, helping the pirate captain prioritize and manage their relationships effectively. Information presentation tools, software and tools used by the pirate crew to present project status using graphics, spreadsheets, and text to communicate important information to the captain and crew. Information radiator, a centralized tool or display used by agile pirate crews to show the current status of the voyage, updates, and important information to all crew members. Information retrieval system. Much like a pirate's treasure map or logbook, this system stores, archives, and provides quick access to project information, ensuring that crucial data is readily available during the voyage. Informational power. The captain's control over data gathering and information distribution, ensuring that the crew is well informed about the voyage's progress and challenges. Ingratiating power. Gaining favor with the crew or stakeholders through flattery and charm, which can be useful for building positive relationships and cooperation during the voyage. Integrated change control. The process of controlling the impact of proposed changes to the voyage plan, ensuring that alterations are carefully considered and managed to prevent disruptions. Interactional leadership, a leadership style that combines elements of transactional, transformational, and charismatic leadership, inspiring the pirate crew while also managing day-to-day operations effectively. Interactive communication, effective two-way communication among crew members, such as meetings and calls, which is crucial for coordinating actions and sharing important information during the voyage. Internal dependencies, relationships within the pirate crew or organization that dictate the sequence of activities, similar to how one task may depend on the completion of another. Internal QA, quality assurance processes within the pirate crew, ensuring that the crew's work meets the established standards and quality expectations. International and political environment, the impact of local and international laws, languages, time zones, and political factors on the pirate crew's voyage, requiring careful consideration and adaptation to navigate successfully. Interviews. Just as a pirate captain might have one-on-one conversations with crew members to gather their thoughts and preferences, interviews are a method used to collect stakeholder requirements individually, ensuring that each stakeholder's voice is heard during the project. Inverted iron triangle of project management. In the world of agile pirate crews, this represents projects with fixed costs and schedules, but with the flexibility to expand the scope of their voyages as needed to seize additional opportunities. Invest. When writing user stories for the pirate crew's treasure hunt, the stories should be independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, and testable. Invitation for bid. Similar to a pirate captain sending out a request to potential sellers for their prices and offers to provide specific products or services needed for the voyage. Iron triangle of project management. Just as a pirate ship's success depends on the balance between time, cost, and scope, the iron triangle represents the model for balancing these aspects in project management. I-shaped and T-shaped people. Pirate crews consist of both I-shaped individuals who possess deep expertise in a specific area and T-shaped individuals who have cross-functional expertise, similar to a pirate crew member who can handle multiple roles on the ship. Ishikawa diagrams. These diagrams, resembling a pirate's treasure map, are used to identify the root causes of risks, helping the pirate captain understand why certain risks might occur during the voyage. ISO standards, like the Pirate Code, set international standards for products, services, and systems, ensuring quality and consistency in the pirate world. Issue. An identified risk event that has occurred during the voyage, requiring the pirate crew's attention and action. Issue log. Just like a pirate captain maintains a log of issues and challenges encountered during the voyage, this log records identified project issues, their resolution deadlines, and the outcomes. Iteration. In agile methodologies like Scrum, an iteration is like a sprint in the pirate world, a time-boxed work period during which the pirate crew focuses on specific tasks and objectives. Iterative life cycle. Similar to how a pirate crew embarks on multiple voyages, an iterative life cycle involves repeated cycles of project work, allowing for adjustments and improvements over time. Kaizen. Much like pirates looking for incremental improvements to their ship and tactics, Kaizen is a lean approach that focuses on making small, continuous improvements to achieve significant results. Kanban. Imagine a visual board on the pirate ship that shows the flow of work items from the backlog to delivery. This is similar to the Kanban framework, which visualizes project work and enables the crew to pull work through the flow. Kanban method. The pirate crew's way of managing their work, visualizing it, and ensuring tasks are completed efficiently by pulling work as needed. Key stakeholder. These are the influential decision-makers in the pirate crew or organization, such as the captain or the most valuable crew members who play a vital role in the voyage's success. Knowledge work. While pirates might focus on physical work like hoisting sails, knowledge work involves intellectual tasks that are challenging to quantify but essential for project progress, much like the captain's strategic planning and decision-making. Known unknown. This represents a risk event that is predictable in terms of its existence, but uncertain regarding its timing and impact, like knowing there might be storms during the voyage, but not knowing exactly when they will hit. Lag time. Just as pirate activities sometimes need to be delayed to accommodate other tasks or conditions, lag time represents the positive time that can delay activities in a project schedule. Lagging metrics. Metrics that are based on past project activities and outcomes, helping the pirate captain analyze what has already happened during the voyage. Laissez-faire leadership. Similar to a pirate captain who allows the crew autonomy and freedom to make their decisions, this leadership approach is hands-off, giving team members space to excel in their roles. Late finish. The latest possible completion date for a project activity, similar to the last possible moment for completing a task during the voyage. Late start, the latest possible start date for a project activity, much like the last moment a task can begin without delaying the entire voyage. Law of triviality. In the pirate world, the time spent discussing less important matters is inversely proportional to their significance. Much like the crew spending too much time debating trivial matters rather than focusing on crucial decisions for the voyage. Lead time. This represents the overlapping of activities in scheduling and the total duration from the initial request for a task to its completion, ensuring that activities are efficiently managed during the voyage. Leadership. The pirate captain's role in aligning, motivating, and inspiring the crew for creative and effective execution of the voyage, much like the captain steering the ship towards its destination. Leading metrics. Metrics that predict future project trends, similar to a pirate captain using the stars to forecast upcoming weather or potential hazards. Leading stakeholder status. Stakeholders who actively support and work towards ensuring the success of the project or voyage, playing a significant role in its execution. Lean, an approach that reduces waste and boosts productivity, much like pirates maximizing their resources and efforts to achieve their goals efficiently. Lean product development, an agile approach emphasizing resource efficiency and rapid completion, like pirates aiming for efficient treasure hunts with minimal wasted effort. Learning curve, assumptions that, with experience and increased production, costs per unit will decrease, much like a pirate crew becoming more efficient with each voyage. Lessons learned, documentation of project successes and failures, serving as a valuable source of knowledge for organizational learning, similar to a pirate crew recording their experiences for future voyages. Letter contract, a temporary contract that allows immediate work to start, pending final agreement, like a pirate crew beginning preparations for a voyage before formalizing all the details. Letter of intent, a non-contractual letter indicating the intent to form a contractual relationship, much like a pirate captain sending a letter to another crew expressing interest in a potential alliance. Low priority risk watch list, a list of identified low priority risks that are monitored during the voyage, similar to keeping an eye on potential but less critical threats to the crew and ship. Low tech and high touch, using simple and easily accessible solutions without relying on complex technology, much like pirates using basic tools and close communication to navigate and survive during their voyages. Majority, a group decision-making method where agreement requires more than 50% consensus, similar to a pirate crew voting on important matters during the voyage. Make or buy decision, similar to a pirate captain deciding whether to make a product or resource in-house or to buy it externally from other crews or traders during the voyage. Management, utilizing positional power for project administration and control, much like the pirate captain managing the crew and resources to ensure the success of the voyage. Management reserve. Think of this as a hidden stash of doubloons set aside in case the project encounters unforeseen delays or challenges during its voyage. Mandatory dependencies. Just as certain pirate activities naturally follow a specific order, like raising the sails before setting a course, mandatory dependencies are project activities that must occur in a required sequence. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This theory categorizes human needs into 5 levels, with the most basic needs at the bottom, such as food and shelter, and higher-level needs like self-esteem and self-actualization. Mathematical model. Much like a pirate captain, plotting a course using mathematical calculations to predict the likelihood of success on their voyage. Project managers use mathematical models to select projects based on their chances of success. Matrix diagram. Picture a treasure map where X marks the spot, indicating the location of buried treasure. A matrix diagram displays variable relationships and strengths in a structured table format. McClellan's theory of needs. This theory suggests that people are driven by 3 fundamental needs: achievement, affiliation, and power. In the pirate world, some crew members might be motivated by the desire for recognition and treasure, while others seek camaraderie, and a few strive for leadership and control. McGregor's theory of X and Y. Similar to how a pirate captain's view of their crew's competence and autonomy can affect their leadership style, McGregor's theory X assumes workers need close supervision, while theory Y believes workers are self-motivated and capable of self-direction. Media selection. Just as pirates choose the appropriate tools for a specific task, selecting the right communication medium ensures the message reaches the intended audience effectively. Medium. In the pirate world, this could be a spyglass for long-distance communication or a lantern signal for night messages, devices or technologies used to convey messages. Meeting management. A good pirate captain leads, manages, and controls meetings among the crew to ensure effective communication and coordination during the voyage. Milestone. These are like the discovery of a hidden treasure chest during a pirate voyage, significant events or points in project progress that mark important achievements. Milestone list. Similar to a pirate captain's log, this document details project milestones and their attributes, keeping a record of significant project events. Mind mapping. Imagine a pirate captain's chart plotting the relationships among islands for navigation. Mind mapping is a technique for visualizing the relationships among project requirements and ideas. Mitigation. Pirates often prepare for storms or attacks to reduce their impact. In project management, mitigation involves taking actions to reduce the probability or impact of identified risks. Monte Carlo analysis. Like a pirate's treasure map predicting the possible locations of buried treasure, this simulation technique predicts a range of possible project outcomes. Multi-criteria decision analysis. Just as pirate captains rate potential crew members on various criteria like strength and navigation skills, this technique involves rating options or team members based on multiple criteria. Multi-divisional structure. In the pirate world, this would be like having multiple ships within a pirate fleet, each with its own focus. Similarly, an organizational structure with duplicated efforts across divisions exists in some organizations. Murder board. Picture a group of experienced pirates critically assessing proposed projects for viability, akin to a committee reviewing potential projects. Negative stakeholder status. These are stakeholders who oppose the project's existence, much like rival pirate crews who might attempt to thwart your voyage. Net present value. Similar to pirates evaluating the potential monetary return from their treasure hunt over its duration, this financial metric calculates a project's monetary return over its lifespan. Neutral stakeholder status. Stakeholders who are indifferent to whether the project succeeds or fails, similar to bystander pirates who don't take sides in a rivalry. Noise. Just as loud waves and thunderstorms can disrupt a pirate crew's message communication, noise refers to disruptions interfering with the effective transmission of a message. Nominal group technique. Imagine a pirate crew brainstorming ideas in an organized manner, much like this technique for idea generation with structured group participation. Project business case. This document, much like a pirate's treasure map, shows the financial validity for initiating a project, providing a compelling reason to embark on the voyage. Project calendars. Similar to a pirate captain's log indicating when certain actions will take place during the voyage, project calendars identify when project work will occur. Project charter. Think of this as the captain's letter of marque, authorizing the project and defining its initial requirements, including the crew's roles and responsibilities. Project constraint. Just as pirates might be limited by the resources and crew available for a voyage, project constraints limit the project manager's options, such as budget or resources. Project cycle time. This is the total time it takes for a project to reach completion, much like the duration of a pirate voyage, from setting sail to returning with the treasure. Project environment. Similar to how the location and cultural setting influence a pirate crew's journey, the project environment includes the geographical and cultural context of project work. Project float. This is the time a project can be delayed without exceeding the customer's expected completion date, allowing some flexibility during the voyage. Project life cycle. Much like a pirate's voyage consists of various phases, each unique to the type. Project Management Institute. Think of PMI as a guild of experienced pirate captains who establish global standards and best practices for project management professionals. Project Management Office. Similar to a pirate fleet central command, a PMO oversees projects, providing support services and guidance to ensure successful voyages. Project Management Plan. This document outlines the approach for project planning, execution, control, and closure, much like a pirate captain's strategic plan for a successful voyage. Project Management Professional. Much like a pirate captain earning a special title and recognition for their expertise, a PMP is a certified project management professional with a recognized level of expertise. Project Management Risks. These are the risks associated with the various project management processes that project managers must navigate, similar to the challenges and risks a pirate captain faces on their voyage. Project Manager. Think of the project manager as the captain of the project ship, leading the project team and managing the resources to ensure the project's objectives are achieved. Project Network Diagram. Just as a pirate captain uses a map to visualize the flow of activities and relationships among islands, a project network diagram visualizes the flow and relationships among project activities. Project Objectives. These are the measurable goals that determine the success of the project, much like the treasure a pirate captain seeks on their voyage. Project Portfolio Management. Similar to a pirate captain managing a fleet of ships with different missions and priorities, project portfolio management balances the priority, risk, reward, and return on investment of various projects within an organization. Project Presentations. Imagine a pirate captain addressing the crew to inform them about the status of the voyage. Project presentations are a technique for informing stakeholders about the project's status and progress. Resource leveling heuristic. Imagine you be managing a crew of pirates, and some of them have more work than they can handle while others have too little. Resource leveling be like redistributing tasks to ensure everyone's workload is balanced and the ship runs smoothly. Responsibility. Just as a pirate captain assigns specific roles and duties to their crew members, responsibility in project management is the specific work assigned to a role in a project. Responsibility assignment matrix. Think of this as a ship's crew roster, correlating each crew member with their assigned tasks and roles. Return on investment. Pirates often weigh the cost of their adventures against the treasure they expect to plunder. ROI calculates the difference between a project's costs and the returns it generates. Reward power. A pirate captain has the authority to distribute rewards like a share of the treasure. Similarly, project managers may have the authority to reward team members for their hard work. Rewards and recognition system. Just as pirate captains reward their crew for a successful raid, a rewards and recognition system is a tool for motivating and rewarding the project team for their efforts. Risk. In the unpredictable world of pirates, a risk could be a sudden storm that affects the voyage. In project management, risk refers to uncertain events that can impact the project either positively or negatively. Risk identification. Much like a vigilant lookout, watching for potential threats on the horizon, risk identification is the process of systematically identifying project risks. Risk management plan. This plan be like a pirate captain's strategy for dealing with potential dangers at sea. It defines how risks will be identified, analyzed, responded to, and monitored throughout the project. Risk owners. These be individuals responsible for keeping an eye on specific risks and taking action if those risks start to affect the project. Risk register. Picture this as a treasure map marking the locations of hidden dangers. It's a centralized database containing all the information about project risks. Risk report. Much like a pirate captain's report on the state of the ship and any threats encountered. A risk report provides an overview of overall project risks and individual risk summaries. Risk response audit. Think of this as a post-voyage debriefing to see how well the crew handled various threats and challenges. It validates the effectiveness of established risk responses. Risk response plan. Just as a pirate captain might have a plan for dealing with storms or hostile encounters, this plan outlines how the project will respond to both positive and negative risks. Risk responsibilities. These be like assigning specific crew members to be responsible for certain shipboard tasks. In the project world, it's about defining who's responsible for managing individual project risks. Risk score. Similar to assigning a threat level to various regions on a pirate map, a risk score is calculated based on a risk's probability and impact. Risk-adjusted backlog. Picture this as a treasure chest, where user stories are prioritized based on their risk scores, ensuring that high-risk items are addressed early in the project. Risk-related contractual agreements. Just as pirate captains might negotiate terms with other pirate crews or merchants, these are contracts created to transfer or share project risks with other parties. Role. Every pirate on a ship has a specific role, whether it's navigating, handling cannons, or cooking. Similarly, roles in project management define the specific responsibilities assigned to a person in a project. Rolling wave planning. This be akin to a pirate captain planning for the known obstacles ahead while keeping an eye on the distant horizon for potential challenges. Detailed planning is done for imminent work, while future work is planned at a higher level. Root cause identification. Similar to investigating why the ship's mast broke during a storm, this process helps understand the underlying causes of risk events. Rough order of magnitude. Think of this as a rough estimate of the treasure's value, provided with a wide range of variance. It's an initial estimate used when there be limited information available. Round robin. This brainstorming method be like having each member of the pirate crew share their ideas one by one, ensuring everyone has a say. Rule of 7. Imagine using this rule to identify if there be 7 or more pirate ships approaching on the horizon, indicating an imminent threat. In control chart terms, it identifies when 7 measurements are out of control. Rules of the project. Just as pirate crews have their own set of rules and expectations. These be defined teamwork and collaboration expectations found in the Agile Charter. Run chart. Much like plotting the course of the ship over time, a run chart shows inspection results over time, helping analyze trends. Scatter diagram. Similar to charting the relationship between 2 distant islands on a map, this diagram tracks the relationship between 2 variables over time. Schedule baseline. Just as a pirate captain sets the initial course and estimated arrival time for a voyage, the schedule baseline contains the planned project start and finish dates. Schedule management plan. Think of this as the pirate captain's strategic plan for the entire voyage, but in project management, it details the creation, estimation, control, and management of the project schedule. Schedule milestones. These be like the predetermined destinations along the voyage, marking customer-defined dates for completing important phases of the project. Schedule performance index. Similar to evaluating how well the ship is following its planned course, SPI measures project schedule performance. Schedule variance. Imagine this as the difference between the expected arrival date and the actual arrival date at a destination. In project management, it's the difference between earned value and planned value. Scope baseline. Just as a pirate captain might have a detailed map and description of the treasure's location, the scope baseline includes the project scope statement, work breakdown structure, and WBS dictionary. Scope creep. Think of this as unexpected islands that appear on the map during the voyage, leading to unapproved and undocumented changes in project scope. Scope validation. This be like formally inspecting the discovered treasure to ensure it meets your expectations before claiming it as your own. Secondary risk. Much like encountering a new threat while dealing with an existing danger, a secondary risk be a new risk that arises as a direct outcome of implementing a risk response. Scoring models. Think of this as assigning values to different islands on the treasure map to evaluate their worth. Scoring models use common values to evaluate project selection. Screening system. This be like using a spyglass to identify potential vendor ships from a distance. It's a tool for filtering out non-qualifying vendors. Scrum. Imagine a pirate crew that works in short, focused bursts of activity and regularly reviews their progress. Scrum be an agile method with sprints for iterative work and review. Scrum Master. Similar to the quartermaster on a pirate ship, the Scrum Master facilitates the team, removes obstacles, and coaches the crew in Scrum practices. Scrum of Scrums. Much like representatives from different pirate crews meeting to discuss common challenges, this be a meeting of representatives from multiple Scrum teams in large projects to coordinate their work. Scrum Team. Just as a pirate ship's crew consists of the captain, the quartermaster, and the crew members, a Scrum team includes the product owner, Scrum Master, and development team. Secondary risks. These be new risks that arise from implementing a risk response, similar to encountering unexpected challenges while trying to mitigate an existing threat. Self-awareness. Just as a savvy pirate captain knows their strengths and weaknesses, self-awareness in emotional intelligence involves understanding one's own emotions and having self-confidence. Self-management. Much like a captain needs to control the ship and adapt to changing conditions, self-management involves personal control, adaptability, and the drive to handle one's own behavior effectively. Seller rating systems. Think of this as a pirate crew rating various vendors based on past performance and their compliance with contract terms. Sender. This be the person who fires the cannon, or in communication terms, the one initiating a message. Sender-receiver models. These models be like frameworks for how messages flow and feedback is provided, with potential communication barriers akin to navigating treacherous waters. Sensitivity analysis. Just as a pirate captain assesses the impact of a potential storm on their voyage, sensitivity analysis be a quantitative tool to assess the impact of risks on a project. Servant leadership. Picture a pirate captain who puts their crew's needs first, provides opportunities for growth, and allocates resources accordingly. That be servant leadership in action. 7 basic quality tools. These be the essential tools for quality planning and control, similar to a pirate's toolkit for ship maintenance and treasure hunting. Shared understanding. In an Agile XP project, this be the common understanding of project goals and approaches among all team members, like everyone knowing the map to the buried treasure. Sharing. This be a risk response strategy that shares the benefits of positive risks, just like splitting the treasure among the crew. Shuhari. Much like a pirate progressing from learning the rules of navigation to transcending them with experience, Shuhari be the stages of skill mastery, from rule following to transcending best practices. Single source. Similar to a pirate having a preferred supplier for rum, this be the preference for a specific vendor based on project needs. Situational power. This be the power that arises from specific situations in an organization, similar to a pirate captain's authority during a storm. Smoothing. Conflict resolution that temporarily minimizes the perception of problems, akin to calming the waters for a smoother voyage. Social awareness. Just as a seasoned pirate captain can read the emotions of their crew, social awareness involves empathy and understanding of others' emotions in an environment. Social skills. Like a charismatic pirate captain who can influence, inspire, lead, and collaborate effectively with the crew, these skills are essential for successful leadership. Soft logic. This be like a flexible approach to activity order, not as strict as hard logic, much like changing course to chase a passing ship. Sole source. When ye be needing a specific vendor for unique project needs, much like hiring the only shipwright in the port to repair your vessel. Sprint. Just as pirates plan their voyages in stages, a sprint be a time-boxed cycle in Scrum for planning, executing, and reviewing work. Sprint backlog. This be akin to a pirate's task list during a voyage, containing decomposed tasks for the team to tackle during a sprint. Sprint planning duration. The length of time for sprint planning can vary, just as a voyage's planning duration depends on its complexity. Sprint planning meeting. Similar to a pirate crew discussing the course and objectives of their next voyage, this meeting determines the work scope for a sprint with the team, product owner, and Scrum Master. Sprint retrospective. Think of this as a crew meeting at the end of a voyage to discuss what went well and what could be improved. It's a review meeting at the end of a sprint. Sprint review. This be like showcasing the plundered treasure at the end of a successful voyage. It's a meeting to demonstrate completed work at the end of a sprint. Stakeholder. Anyone affected by or affecting the project be akin to other ships on the sea, some of which may be allies and others adversaries. Stakeholder analysis. Similar to plotting the courses of various ships, this process identifies, categorizes, and prioritizes stakeholder needs and interests. Stakeholder classification models. These be charts for assessing stakeholder influence and interest, much like categorizing ships as allies or threats. Stakeholder engagement. Just as pirate captains need to keep their crew interested and involved, stakeholder engagement focuses on keeping stakeholders interested, involved, and supportive of the project. Stakeholder engagement plan. Think of this as the strategy for managing stakeholder engagement, much like how a pirate captain plans to engage with other ships on the high seas. Stakeholder identification. This be an early project activity akin to documenting the names and details of other ships sailing in the vicinity. Stakeholder management. Similar to managing relationships with other ships, this focuses on the engagement and management of project stakeholders. Stakeholder notifications. Just as you'd signal other ships about changes in course or status, these notifications inform stakeholders about project issues, changes, and status. Stakeholder register. Think of this as the ship's logbook, recording stakeholder contact information, interests, and attitudes. Start to finish. This be an activity relationship where a successor finishes after a predecessor starts, much like one ship's voyage ending as another begins. Start to start. Similar to ships setting sail in tandem, this activity relationship involves a successor starting after a predecessor starts. Statistical sampling. Just as pirates may randomly select a few barrels of rum to taste, statistical sampling involves random sample selection for quality checks. Status review meeting. Much like a pirate captain holding regular meetings to discuss the status of the voyage, this be a meeting to discuss project status and progress. Storming. This be the Tuckman stage where the crew encounters conflict over positions and the direction of the voyage, much like navigating through a storm. Story point sizing. Just as a pirate estimates the value of a treasure chest, story point sizing be the relative sizing of user stories based on their complexity. Strong matrix structure. This organizational structure be like a ship where the project manager has more power than the functional managers, much like a captain holding command over the crew. Style. Much like a pirate's choice of attire reflects their personality and the occasion, style in project management be the communication tone, structure, and formality that be aligned with the audience and content. Subnet. Think of this as a section of the network diagram reserved for outsourced work or subprojects, like different islands in a pirate's treasure map. Subprojects. These be smaller projects within a larger project, similar to missions within a pirate's grand voyage. Sunk costs. Ahoy. These be the already invested doubloons in a project that you can't recover, just like the loot buried deep within a hidden cave. Supportive stakeholder status. These be the stakeholders who are aware of the project and hopeful for its success, much like friendly ports along the pirate's route. SWOT analysis. Much like a pirate assesses the strengths and weaknesses of their ship before a battle, SWOT analysis examines a project's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. System metaphor. In the world of XP, this be an approach that describes the solution's architecture and naming conventions, similar to how a pirate captain might name their ship with a metaphorical theme. System, or process flowcharts. These be charts that illustrate the flow of processes through a system, like the schematics for a pirate's ship. Systems analysis. Just as a pirate studies the components of their ship, systems analysis be the study of system components and their relationships. Systems engineering. Think of this as the fine balance between a pirate ship's scope, the time it takes to sail, and the cost of maintaining the vessel. Tacit knowledge. This be the kind of knowledge that be hard to express, much like the unspoken wisdom passed down among pirates from one generation to the next. Team facilitator. Similar to a ship's quartermaster, a team facilitator supports the crew and ensures adherence to agile rules. Team space. Just as a pirate crew has their own dedicated space on the ship for collaboration, this be a dedicated area for collocated team collaboration. Technical debt. This be like the wear and tear on a pirate ship that accumulates due to a lack of cleanup or maintenance. It's the backlog of work that be needed to keep things shipshape. Technical, quality, or performance risks. These be risks related to new technologies, quality expectations, or performance levels, much like the uncertainties of using uncharted waters. TICOP. Risk identification that examines technical, environmental, commercial, operational, and political factors, similar to a pirate captain considering various aspects before planning a voyage. Template. Think of this as a pre-designed map, or plan, that be adapted from previous projects or pre-populated forms for use in the current project. Terms of reference. Much like a pirate's code, this defines the seller's obligations, deliverables, and specifics of the work in a contract. 3 amigos. These be the roles of customers, developers, and testers who collaborate in acceptance test-driven development, much like a trio of pirate crew members planning their next escapade. 3 CS of user stories. Writing user stories with card-like descriptions, conversational language, and confirmation criteria, much like a pirate leaving clues for the crew about the next treasure. 3-point estimate. Similar to triangulating the location of buried treasure, this activity estimating technique uses optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic values to estimate task durations. Time and materials contract. Just as a pirate may pay for goods and services during their voyage, in this contract, the buyer pays for time and materials used in the project, often with a not-to-exceed clause. Time reporting system. This be like a logbook that records the time taken for project activities, similar to a pirate captain keeping a record of each day's voyage. To complete performance index. Much like a pirate captain gauges how close they be to their destination, the TCPI forecasts the likelihood of achieving project goals based on budget and performance. Total float. Just as a pirate ship can be delayed without affecting its ultimate goal, total float be the maximum delay an activity can have without affecting the project's completion. Transactional leadership. This be a leadership style that emphasizes project goals, rewards, and management by exception, much like a pirate captain enforcing discipline on the ship. Transference. Similar to transferring a treasure chest from one ship to another, this involves transferring risk ownership to another party, often for a fee. Transformational leadership. Much like a charismatic pirate captain who inspires and motivates the crew toward a common goal, this leadership style empowers and motivates the team to achieve project goals. Triple constraints of project management. Just as a pirate must balance the weight of their loot, these constraints involve balancing time, cost, and scope in project management. Tree diagram. Similar to a map showing various islands and routes, a tree diagram shows hierarchies and decomposition in solutions, organizations, or teams. Trend analysis. This be like using past treasure maps to predict where future treasures might be hidden. Trend analysis uses past results to forecast future project performance. Triple constraints of project management. These be the constraints of time, cost, and scope that a project manager must balance, much like a pirate captain balancing their ship's weight, speed, and destination. T-shirt sizing. Just as pirates might estimate the size of a chest based on its appearance, T-shirt sizing be a user story sizing method using labels like small, medium, or large to estimate effort. Unanimity. This be a group decision method that requires total agreement among all members, similar to a unanimous vote among a pirate crew. Unaware stakeholder status. This be a stakeholder who knows as much about the project as a landlubber does about sail in the high seas. Absolutely nothing. User story. In the world of Scrum, a user story be a tool that describes a role's functional use and the value gained from it. Think of it as a treasure map that guides the crew to the hidden loot. Value analysis. This be the process of examining a project's product functions against its costs, much like weighing the value of a chest of gold against the risks of claiming it. Value engineering. Just as a pirate captain must balance the quality of their ship against the treasure they've plundered, value engineering be the art of balancing quality and budget to achieve acceptable product performance. Value stream. Similar to the flow of loot from the ship's hold to the captain's quarters, value stream be a lean principle that emphasizes actions creating value from start to finish. Variability risks. These be the risks based on project variations, such as the unpredictable weather or the changing tides, that can throw a project off course. Variable costs. These be the costs that vary with project conditions, much like the cost of supplies and repairs on a pirate ship that change depending on the voyage. Variance. Just as a pirate might discover a variance between the expected location of treasure and its actual hiding spot, variance in project management be the difference between expected and actual outcomes. Variance at completion. This be a forecast of the project's variance, calculated as the budget at completion minus the estimate at completion. Velocity. In Scrum, this be the number of user story points completed per sprint, like the speed at which a pirate ship sails. Virtual structure. Much like a pirate crew that spans across different ships and islands, yet communicates through the network of the seas, a virtual structure uses networks for communication and interaction across groups. Vision statement. This be like a pirate captain's declaration of their grand goal, a statement that defines the project's goals and purpose. Visual signal. Think of this as a Kanban tool that indicates the progress of work items, similar to the signals and flags flown on a pirate ship. Vroom's expectancy theory. Just as a pirate's behavior might be based on their expectations of the treasure's location, Vroom's theory suggests that behavior is based on the expected outcome of one's efforts. VUCA. This acronym be used to examine volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity in risk identification, much like how a pirate captain evaluates the unpredictable nature of the seas. WS Dictionary. This be a companion to the work breakdown structure that defines the elements within the WBS, similar to a detailed map of islands found within a larger archipelago. WBS template. Much like a pirate might use a pre-drawn treasure map as a template for marking buried treasure, a WBS template be a pre-populated WBS for similar projects. Weak matrix structure. This organizational structure be one where functional managers hold more power than the project manager, much like a ship's quartermaster having more say than the captain. Weekly cycle. In the world of XP, this be a project iteration for completing backlog items in a week, similar to a short but intense voyage. Waiting system. This system removes bias in vendor selection by assigning values to various aspects of proposals, similar to weighing the pros and cons of different routes for a pirate voyage. Withdrawal. Much like a pirate who decides to leave an argument and focus on the treasure hunt, withdrawal be a conflict resolution method involving disengaging from the dispute. Work breakdown structure. This be a hierarchical decomposition of the project scope, much like a treasure map breaking down the locations and steps to reach the ultimate loot. Work package. Think of this as the smallest unit in the work breakdown structure, akin to the individual steps on a treasure map leading to hidden riches. Work performance data. These be the raw project data, observations and measurements, much like the notations in a ship's logbook. Work performance information. Similar to the analyzed observations and data that aid in decision-making for a pirate crew, this be analyzed data that aids in project decision-making. Work performance reports. These be documents that communicate the project's status through various formats, similar to the reports and messages sent between pirate ships. Work in progress. Work in progress be the allowed amount of work items in a workflow, much like the number of tasks a pirate crew can tackle at a given time. XP coach. Similar to a seasoned pirate mentor in the crew, an XP coach guides the team in XP methods, oversees their work, and suggests improvements. XP customer or product owner. This be the one who represents the business interests, prioritizes requirements, and writes user stories in the world of XP, much like a treasure map creator. XP doomsayer. Every pirate crew has someone watching for signs of bad weather or ill omens, and in XP, a doomsayer be the one who monitors risks, issues, and project threats. XP gold owner. Similar to a wealthy sponsor funding the pirate voyage, the XP gold owner provides the funds for the project. XP manager. This be the one who delivers the project as promised, communicates its status, and plans its releases, akin to a pirate captain navigating the ship. XP programmer. Similar to a ship's carpenter, an XP programmer develops the code, derives tasks, and conducts unit testing. XP tester. Just as a vigilant lookout keeps an eye on the horizon, an XP tester conducts functional tests on the code and documents the results. XP tracker. This be the one who tracks work assignments and reports on the project's progress, much like a ship's quartermaster keeping tabs on supplies and crew.